Okay, here we go. Chapter 6 of Gloria, the story of a woman, my life. Now, I'm sure that so many of you can relate to this, to my life, because let's face it, everybody's had struggles. Everybody has not had perfect childhoods. Everybody has not had a perfect life. And those that have, God bless them. That's all I got to say, because that is very rare, and it's very rare. That's all I have to say. What I want to start off telling you is you have to understand something. A child lives in the moment. A child does not think about tomorrow, the next day, or the next week, or the next month, unless they're waiting on their birthday or waiting on Christmas. They certainly do not sit and ponder over what has already happened. They pretty much live in the moment. So whatever they face in that moment, I guess is a learning experience, because you don't have any choices as a child. As an adult, you have choices. You don't have to do what someone tells you to do. You don't have to put up with something that you know is not right, and you cannot stop it. As an adult, you can do that. As a child, you do not have that luxury. So you have to deal with it and go on about your life. You have to get up, get strong, and go on, which is still pretty much the motto of my life today. Get up, get strong, and go on. So when I had to leave my grandparents and go back to Warner Robins, which I knew was going to be until I left that home, that I did not know how to brace myself for it. I did not know how to, I didn't know what to do. I only knew that I did not want to go back, that it was a sterile type of situation that you walk into. For instance, I will never forget my stepfather sitting there at the kitchen table. Now, everybody came in and out of the back door. Everybody used the back door at that time. They didn't go no front door. They didn't use the living room very much at all, to be honest with you. Every time I came in that back door, it never failed that this man did not say, "Wipe your feet. Clean your feet off, Gloria." Every time. I would stand there and stomp and stomp and stomp the back porch so he could hear me clean my feet. I'm like, how many times do you have to tell me? I know what I'm supposed to do. Give me a little bit of credit. But I'm not lying to you every time. The dishes had to be washed, dried, put away, and the kitchen swept after every meal. You did not leave kitchen dishes to drain. You did not go back and put them up later. And you had to sweep that kitchen. Why? I don't know. But it had to be done. When I came in from school, I could not sit on my bed. I could not put my books on my bed. My books had to be in a certain place. Saturday morning, now my mother did not work. My mother stayed home and cleaned all day, every day. She cleaned and cooked and did all day. Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, "Gloria, get up. You got to do your chores." It's 8 o'clock in the morning. I can do my chores. Can I do my chores at like 9 or 10? Lots of times I had played a basketball game on a Friday night and didn't get home till 2 or 3 in the morning because we would travel all over Georgia to play basketball. It didn't matter. Did not matter. Everything was controlled. I was controlled from the moment that I got up until the moment that I went to sleep. It was a literal control factor. And after a while, I'll be honest with you, you get tired of it, but there's nothing you can do. There's not a thing you can do. I remember that my stepfather sometimes would go on TDY, and you know what? I loved it. I wish that he'd have gone every week, but he didn't. And my mother, as I said, my mother, she just did not have, I think she resented me because of her getting pregnant and having me so young. And I can understand that, but you don't resent the child. You don't take it out on the child because the child had nothing to do with it. I did not ask for her to get pregnant. I did not ask to come here under those circumstances. But yet I was penalized for it. And that I would always be, it would always be in my heart. It would always hurt in my heart. And it was just unreal that a mother would be so distant and could be so elusive to her own child. And I feel in some way, I even think in some way she was really jealous of me. I don't know why, but I feel that. So anyway, I go back to Warner Robins. I go into the 8th grade. Okay, I settle in school. I love school. In the 8th grade, I wrote an essay about Sputnik. No, that was in high school. No, I'm sorry. 8th grade. No, 8th grade was kind of not, I don't remember much about the 8th grade. Wasn't much in my mind. I just went to school and came home, went to school. How I know what I did? I started babysitting. We lived on a street with a lot of houses, with a lot of young couples, and they had little kids, and I got to babysit, which got me out of the house, especially on the weekends. The neighbors next door, they had 2 little kids, cute as buttons. They would go to football games all around the country, to football games. And I got to keep their kids. There was another lady down the street. She had 3 little boys. She'd go in there. I'd go in there and keep her little boys. They worked. They'd go out. They'd come in. Them little boys was all cleaning in bed. Their house would be straightened up. I'd do all that stuff. I loved it because I was alone. I was alone, and I had no one telling me, don't do this, don't do that, don't do the other, do this, do that. You're not doing this. Who ever heard of having a living room where you could not take a piece of cake and eat in the living room? Who ever heard of that? That is the most absurd rule that I've ever heard of in my life, and yet we could not go into the living room and eat a piece of cake. What are we going to mess up? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. But anyway, I endured it because I had no choice. Then I went into the 9th grade. Now, I had played basketball down in Union County. I had learned to play basketball. And I was good at it. I was very good. I was a very good guard. So in the 9th grade, you're not going to believe this, but I made first string. Yes, I did. Because on that basketball court, I could take out every bit of the aggression that I was holding in. And it didn't explode somewhere else. It exploded on that basketball court. And when it did, it made me great. It made me good. I mean, I was good. I was fast. I was quick. I was a guard, and I could guard anybody. No one could get around me. Because as I said, it was aggression, and aggression fuels you. Aggression will fuel you. It will fuel you. It can fuel you in a negative way. It can fuel you in a positive way. It fueled me in a positive way. And the longer I stayed on that basketball court, the better I became. And I had the most wonderful coach, Coach White, Sidney White. He was fabulous. He had 2 daughters. His wife had died. He's raising 2 girls. And his daughter, Dottie, was 1 year behind me. And she played. So we had a really good team. We would, oh my gosh, we would go all over. So in the 9th grade, as I said, I made first string. And that's one of the things that I remember about those times. Because the times at home, I tried to really block it out. I tried hard to not remember the things that were going on, the things that were still happening, and the fact that my mother was ignoring the fact. But remember something. I had lived on a farm for 5 years, 4 years, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth. Yeah, 4 years. I had lived on a farm. I had chopped wood. I had brought wood in. I had driven horses. I had worked in the tobacco barn. I was strong. So I had a choice then when I went back when I was in the 8th grade. I had a choice because I was strong and I could hold my own, believe it or not. And so I kind of won that battle, if y'all know what I'm talking about. Because once again, you couldn't do things to me then that you could do when I was in the 2nd grade or the 1st or the 4th. You couldn't, because I was older and I had a brain and I was smart and I would use my brain. And so I was able to conquer my situation in that respect, that I didn't have to worry about that. And I didn't worry about it anymore because, as I said, I had gained momentum in that. And so with all of this, I never was a good student. I hated school. I didn't like school. I really didn't. And that's another thing. I couldn't even choose my own subjects. He had to choose them for me. Oh, you need to take typing and shorthand. I never used shorthand in my life. And then when I got out of high school, I took a test typing test on the base and failed it. I didn't want to work there. I had no desire. And maybe I did have a desire because it would have been a wonderful job, but it would have also been a job that kept you there because the advancements were good. When you work for civil service in the Air Force or whatever, it's really great, but you stay with it because it's hard to walk away from. So I'm glad I went after school and went to work for the electric company, Flint Electric, and got hired immediately. I had no problem working. I had no problem getting jobs. I had no problem with friends in school. I had no problems outside the home. But let me explain something else to all of you. Every one of us, every person on this planet, lives with some type of abuse as a child that you carry with you into your adulthood, and it messes with your adult life. Many are abused by an older sibling. Many of you are compared as a child to another sibling. Well, why can't you do it like her? Why can't you do it like him? Why aren't you as good in basketball as your sister? Why aren't you a football player like your brother? You might have a grandmother that every time you see her, like, well, you don't need that dress doesn't look good on you. You need to wear something more flattering. Or are you putting on a little weight? You look like you're gaining some weight. All of that is abuse that stays with you. I don't care what anybody says. It could be a teacher that puts you down. But every human being on this planet has something that they lug into their adulthood that they need to leave behind, because what it does is it puts a kink in your adulthood until you have to let it go. And boy, can that take a long time and a lot of learning along the way. And that's why sometimes I do my little videos about, let it go. Forget about it. It's over and done with. Leave it behind. Because you don't want to stay a victim all your life to your past. And I stayed a victim to my past. Let me tell you, it messed with me big time. And I had no idea what was going on until I did become an adult and have children and a family of my own. And then I saw it full force. And boy, what it did to me. It did a number on me. I went straight to drugs and alcohol when it became available. That's another chapters on down the road, but you'll hear all about that. But it was really forming in me at that time what I was going through in the home that was going to dictate what my life was going to be like for a number of years as I got grown. And for that's another reason that I felt so much resentment. Because it didn't have to happen. It did not have to be. It did not have to be. It could have been different. And any parent that has a child needs to nurture that child and to love it and to give it all the safety and protection that you can possibly give it, even if it means giving your own life. I'm sorry, but that's the way it should be. Because we're vulnerable, we're innocent, and we don't have anyone to protect us. And if our parent doesn't protect us, then we have no one. And if you knew of the number of children out there in that world today that has no one, it is such a sad, sad thing to think about to me, because pretty much their lives are ruined. You see all these people on the streets that may be homeless and everything. It could be from that. And that, to me, is sad. So anyway, here I am, 9th grade, first string basketball, taking grades that I absolutely could not stand, and doing okay in school. I think I did okay in school. I had an algebra teacher in the 9th grade, and I'm telling you right now, Mr. Bowman, and he was like the assistant coach. And honest to goodness, he passed me because of basketball. I did not learn one bit of algebra. I couldn't tell you any. You tell me to do algebra right now, I would look at you and tell you, I don't remember any of it. Like I don't remember any of the shorthand. I can't tell you one of them little doohickly wiggly little scrawling things on there on the page. I would never be able to read anything in shorthand. Never. Now I can type. Oh yeah, I can type now. I do good in typing. But it was not easy. It was not easy. And I had to learn to balance it. I had to learn ways to get out of it, which I got to be pretty good at doing. I got very good. I mean, I would look for babysitting jobs. Trust me. I was lucky every time we had a basketball game scheduled. Absolutely. I remember one time we came home, and I was supposed to go home right after we got off the bus. Well, we didn't do that kind of stuff. We did what kind of we wanted to because we were out and we were teenagers. So a whole bunch of us got in a car and rode to Macon, which is 18 miles up the road. There wasn't nothing open in Macon. We just rode up there and rode back. So they were bringing me home, and they get almost in front of my house, and the guy says, "I think I'm running out of gas." And I'm like, no, not in front of my house. Oh my God, please let me out right here and just coast down the hill. Because when you went past my house, then you went down a little hill going down to the other street that went diagonal. I said, go down there and stop at the stop sign, but please do not stop in front of my house, because that's all I would have needed is a bunch of teenagers out in a car trying to go and get some gas at 2 a.m, which it probably was that time because we went long distances to basketball games. But we had so much fun on that bus. Oh my gosh, we had more fun. We were crazy. We loved it. And I'm sure there were a lot of other kids maybe on that bus that thought the same thing. Yeah, man, I'm away from home, man. I've got a little freedom now. And I remember we used to go to places and we had no money. Nobody gave us any money. I had my little babysitting money, and I would take my little bit of babysitting money, but we would stop at a place to get something to eat. And we'd all have to pool our money and buy a big plate of French fries. And we'd all eat some French fries. And sometimes we might get a Coke. We might have to split a Coke or something. But then we went to this one place, and we always stopped there. And the owner was so nice, and he used to feed us. And it was so nice of him to do that. And these are the things that I remember. See, this is why memory is so wonderful. You remember the good things. You remember the happy times. You remember the times that got you through all the others, those that you don't want to remember. And I have many of those. I really, really do. I have many good memories of good people, good teachers. I remember many things like that. So this is where I am. I'm in the 9th grade. Now, y'all come back next week, because I'll still continue. I'll still be in high school, and I will take y'all through my high school years to graduation, and then the bottom fell out. I can tell you that right now after I graduated. So y'all come on back next week, and as I said, you know how much I love y'all. I hope you enjoy this. Leave me some comments. Tell me if you enjoyed or not, and I appreciate every one of you. Now be sure, if you're not subscribed to my channel, hit that subscribe button, please. I love y'all. Bye bye.